but the whole effort to get the Palestinians to decouple from Hamas is obviously going to require cooperation from Tehran. I mean, Hamas won power in the general election in 2006 on the back of disgruntlement over the Iraq war. They're firmly entrenched there. We're being a bit simplistic to say there's, it's inseparable down there. I mean, how do you pressure Iran to play its role, to back off in that
Hey.
One of the key moments, if you like,
It's okay. It's okay. See? Hello.
But importantly, the statement by Arab nations, which was very historic. The meeting convened by France and Saudi Arabia in New York produced very clear and unequivocal statements of opposition to Hamas, of disarming of Hamas, and of Hamas not playing a future role. Thanks very much.
And there we have it, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese side by side with Foreign Minister Penny Wong announcing that Australia will recognise Palestinian statehood at the United Nations General Assembly in September. This is an historic shift for that is where the risk of decline is nothing compared to the danger of letting this moment pass us by. So Anthony Albanese genuinely believes that this is a moment for the world, for Western nations to combine to add momentum towards abolition of Palestinian statehood. There are conditions attached. The first of which is that there should be no role for Hamas in a future Palestinian state. He says that he's spoken to the head of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, who has given
How you doing? Ella, how are you? Say hello. Say hi. Oh, say thank you.
Now, it's a big moment. I'm joined in the studio by our political reporter, Olivia Casely. And Liv, the Prime Minister was asked there by journalists. We knew this was a matter of when, not if. Today
I'm good. How are you?
Tell us about the round of diplomacy that's been going on behind the
Yo,
scenes
Dad, how are you?
for the last sort of 48 hours into like last week. Well, it's been a flurry of diplomatic activity behind the scenes.
Thank you.
Was the sort of lane of traffic that we were moving in. We probably didn't expect it to happen as soon as now. We did sort of expect
Thank you, Ella.
there could be an announcement going into the United Nations General Assembly meeting next month. But interestingly, we heard there from Anthony Albanese. He's spoken in the past week with Benjamin Netanyahu.
You open your mouth for them to see? Yeah. How's your day going, Ella?
Thursday.
Yo, Dad, how are you?
In the broader context.
Oh, thank you.
To the leader of the Palestinian Authority, as you mentioned before as well.
Thank you.
Certain, I guess, commitments in terms of, garnering Australia's support. But
She's trying to sleep. She's been eating.
Prime Minister Jeremy Luxon over the weekend, they no doubt discussed this question of Palestinian statehood, given just moments before this press conference too, we did hear that New Zealand's moving in this direction as well. But a lot of discussions behind the scenes. It has been a complicated issue, I guess, for the government more generally, but it's been really brought to a head to the escalating humanitarian crisis on the ground in Gaza. So we are clearly joining a coordinated international effort here, and the aim of that is to bring about peace. We know from Israel's comments, from Benjamin Netanyahu's comments, he is not for a military state solution. So we are seeing Western nations use the leverage they have to basically...
Good.
Oh, your baby is so cute.
Thank you.
Okay, how many weeks?
2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm keen to sort of tease that out. What is the Prime Minister telling us? Because we're taking a bit of
Oledo.
Australia in
Gold.
taking the Palestinian Authority at its word that certain things will happen before.
She's trying to look at the camera.
I guess that speaks to
Her name is Gold.
the crisis on the ground
Oledo.
in Gaza, that the government is willing to have those discussions with the Palestinian Authority and those commitments and try and move forward on that basis, because ultimately
precious God.
The request, if you like, for example, that Hamas plays no role in any future Palestinian government, that's super significant, and we've heard a similar request from some of our other Western allies. But fascinatingly, we also heard from the Arab League nations, I think it must have been last week now, that they're saying that they agree that there should also be a condition of support for Palestinian statehood. We also heard they're speaking in the demilitarisation of Hamas, and then we also heard too, he didn't in the first instance mention the release of hostages, however he later clarified that that's something that of course he wants to see, and really he's framing this within the broader context of wanting peace in the region.
You getting some
more
grief?
generally. From Prime Minister Penny Wong on the topic, what it looks like it is
Some grief? Hi Max, how are you? Oh, thank you. Bless you.
So there are clear red lines for the government. It is conditional, but this is the direction we're moving. And we know that the Prime Minister clearly believes that he
Say
has
hi.
largely
Say hi,
been
Ashley.
moving in
Hi.
lockstep with the
Hi,
sentiment of the
Max.
Australian public. And we saw really a massive protest over the Sydney Harbour Bridge
Okay.
in support of Palestinian statehood and much more than that, Palestinian sovereignty and rights. How has the Prime Minister managed the internal politics of this? There's been a tricky issue for big grassroots support for recognising Palestinians. But the parliamentary team hasn't always sort of stood shoulder to shoulder in that respect. I think it's definitely a enormous challenge for him as well as
Hi Ava, how are you?
when they have tried to walk this diplomatic tightrope, if you like, even on the domestic sense as well. Speak to those in the party that
It's going good. We're just relaxing, chilling. Been sleeping. So maybe be sleeping, so yeah. Thank you, Pink. How are you? Thank you. I must say thank you. Thank you.
And let's not forget, former Senator, or Labor Senator, I should say,
Oh, day's been going good. How's yours? Ava, how's your day going? She's 2 weeks today. 2 weeks old.
It has been a problem for them, and it's certainly, I think, perhaps this will help negotiations moving
2 weeks
forward. Just to
old.
bring
Oh,
our
thank
audience up
you.
to speed, it was about a year ago when Foreign Minister Penny Wong first signalled a bit of a shift in Australia's position. There's a long-standing bipartisan position for a negotiated two-state solution between Israel, between a future Palestinian state. But about a year ago, in the midst of this Gaza war, Penny Wong said that she no longer believed Palestinian statehood had to come at the end of that process, but rather could be at the start of that process as a part
Right.
of towards peace.
Thank you, Batman. Thank you.
Rapid global movements. And so
See, Batman approved the cuteness. Say thank you. Thank you, Batman. Thank you.
this issue of Palestinian statehood.
We won't do any decision as a gesture.
You.
We will do it as a way forward.
Oh, thank you so much, Pink. Thank you.
Circumstances are met.
Thank
It's the
you.
time right now. Are we about to imminently do that? No, we are not.
At the General Assembly?
Are we about to do that? No, we are not. But we will engage constructively.
Thank you.
Welcome other
Yes,
comments
guys.
by the countries of the
Can we have some meetings?
condemning
Let's find you
Hamas.
some meetings, okay?
Will recognise
Ah.
the state of Palestine by the
Ah,
United
will you
Nations
say hi?
Assembly in September,
Did you say hi?
unless the Israeli government
Hi.
takes substantive steps to end the
Say
appalling
hi.
situation in Gaza.
Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine.
Hi.
Real starvation stuff. I see it. And you can't fake that.
There is no starvation in Gaza.
There's hunger and starvation in Gaza, and it needs to be addressed.
The talks with Hamas fell apart on the day Macron made the unilateral decision that he's going to recognize the Palestinian state. And then you have other people come forward, other countries say, well, there's not a ceasefire until September.
Bless you. Yeah. I'm gonna close the door so you don't get cold.
Because we can be rewarded.
To have European countries and Australia march into that rabbit hole, it's actually shameful.
Sometimes out of a crisis comes
Let me
a
close the
moment
door.
of opportunity.
Australian recognition of the state of Palestine is a matter of when,
is we won't be driven by a time frame. What we'll be driven by is when the recognition of Palestine can make a contribution to the creation of two states.
I think this is a moment to wake-up call for Australian politics.
I think the entire international community is distressed by what we're seeing happening in Gaza.
Does Israel have a moral responsibility? Yes. Should Israel be getting more aid in to civilians in Gaza?
Bless you.
Absolutely.
Oh.
But let us not be blind, Andrew, to the reality.
Were you sneezing hard,
Any
Mama?
moral outrage is with the terrorists.
There have frequently been countries where part of that nation has been occupied by a terrorist group, and we haven't ceased to recognise the country.
It's a matter of when, not if.
And those last comments were from Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in Queenstown on Saturday, and now we know when. It is today. Today is the day that Australia has announced that it will be recognising Palestinian statehood at the UN General Assembly in September, joining allies France, Canada and the UK as the latest countries to recognise statehood. And it should be noted at this point that about 147 of the 193 member states of the UN already recognise Palestinian statehood. But what has shifted in the past few weeks is bigger, wealthier Western powers like France and the UK moving towards this shift in policy. And to bring in our political reporter Olivia Casey again, we've been chatting about this really historic announcement being made today, and we heard in that montage, which was beautifully put together by our team here, Michaela Cash, the Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister, she took a pretty, as we saw the government strengthening and hardening its language against Israel's actions in Gaza, we saw some kind of also very interesting tensions within the coalition over, the extent to which it is supporting Israel at all costs, its acknowledgement of whether there is starvation happening within Gaza. How is this kind of played out? Well, I think it's really fascinating to see how we're now seeing, I guess, a divergence in opinion from within the coalition ranks. As we know, over the course of this conflict, the opposition generally has been staunch defenders of Israel's right to defend itself. They I guess, seized upon a spate of anti-Semitic attacks in Australia and really used that to turn the blowtorch on Anthony Albanese politically. However, in recent weeks, as we know, as the humanitarian crisis worsens on the ground, we have been seeing more and more liberals, not just moderates, coming out in condemnation or indeed raising issues with the fact that aid hasn't been getting in. So, for example, Dave Sharma, he used to be Australia's ambassador to Israel. He's a Liberal moderate. He raised concerns with this, saying that more needs to be done to ensure aid's getting in. We heard similar things from Liberal Senator James Paterson. Yes, Michaela Cash, the Shadow Foreign Minister,
Welcome, Silicon. How are you?
Hardline in her response when she appeared on Sky News on Friday. But we've also seen the likes of Shadow Defence Minister Andrew Hastie sort of questioning what is Israel's end game here. So I think this reflects a broader shift in sentiment we're seeing in the community, in politics, when it comes to just how long this conflict is going to drag on, and really just wanting to see an end of this conflict and peace. And the coalition has made it pretty clear at this stage it does not support the government's moves in this respect. However, that was all speculation. Let's see what they come out with now. It's yet another very divisive and tricky issue for new leader Susan Lee to navigate. Before we throw back to Susan, though, I wanted to ask you about the more comments from the Prime Minister, more along the international reaction. Australia is doing this with the cover of Western allies, and clearly it believes the government believes it has the chance to take this lead. The Prime Minister, what did he tell us about his call with Benjamin Netanyahu, who overnight said that Australia and other Western nations were shamefully going down a rabbit hole with recognition? Well, I wish there could be a fly on the wall for that conversation, because we don't have an enormous amount of detail about exactly what happened in that conversation, other than that this Australia's position was raised with his Israeli counterpart. But I think given the fact that we did see those comments overnight, our intrepid Middle Eastern correspondent Matthew Doran asking Benjamin Netanyahu directly for his response not only to this international movement and I guess shifting sentiment against Israel, but also Australia's Netanyahu directly called out Australia, saying that if an October 7 style
Wanna
attack
say
happened
hello?
in Sydney or Melbourne,
Hi.
then Australia would be acting or would be sort of perhaps following Israel's lead. So that was his contentious language as well, right? Putting
How
the
are
Australian
you?
context to try and sort of get Australian sentiment on his side. Absolutely, and calling the Albanese government shameless in its support really for growing international calls. I do think it is interesting that, if anything, Benjamin Netanyahu has seemed more emboldened over the past week or so. Those extraordinary calls last week when he said that he was planning a military operation
Did you see me?
in Gaza. That's despite the
Yeah.
enormous international pressure that's being heaped upon Israel at this point in time to
Hi, guys.